Welcome back to my channel. This is my part 2 in my NXT main roster series. 5 wrestlers who I think will be sent down to NXT in 2018. Before I get into my top 5 main roster wrestlers who I think will be sent down to NXT, I have to preface this by saying this is in no way a demotion. It's only to improve, and I think it would help all of these athletes that I will name in a few minutes. Don't think of it as a negative. It's only to help them out, to ameliorate them. And I think it's important for wrestlers to, focus and hone in on their skills, and it's only going to help them to develop over time. So, without further ado, here are my top 5 wrestlers who I think will be sent down to NXT in 2018. Number 5, Aiden English. Aiden English, unfortunately, got dealt really bad cards with WWE. He was good in NXT, then he had the Vaudevillains with Simon Gotch alongside him, and unfortunately, when I say he had bad cards dealt to him, that's when, Simon Gotch was released from WWE, so Aiden English was on his own. So going from a decently well, tag team to a single star, it came out of nowhere for him, so he had to really try to reinvigorate his character, and that's what he did with the opera gimmick. And I just feel like he needs a lot more time to hone in on that character, get a lot better on the mic. He could go down to NXT for 6 months and really hone in on that, and also put other people over, younger talent, and also get really good at the same time. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. He's just being a jobber on the main roster. And I understand that some people do have to be relegated to being a jobber and do the job for bigger talent. That's totally fine. But I do feel like Aiden English, it could be a really huge talent. If any of you guys don't know, he's actually Eddie Guerrero's son-in-law. He's married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter. So he'll probably always have a job for the rest of his life, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. He will be employed to WWE forever, probably. So that being said, nepotism is huge in WWE. So I feel like he should definitely hone his skills and go back to NXT for 6 months to a year and come back a lot stronger than when he came up to the main roster initially. So that is my number 5 pick, Aiden English. Number 4 is Apollo Crews. Again, he's someone with an amazing athletic background. He's so good in the ring, but I hate to break it to you, there's a lot more that comes with just being a good wrestler. You need to be the full package. You need to have the mic skills. You need to have the charisma. And yeah, he's got the in-ring ability, but you need everything. So he also doesn't really have a character. That's another problem. I think he was definitely called up way too quick, and that's obviously not his fault. But I think it would definitely do him well to go back down to NXT for a year and just, help dominate and control that division, because they're going to need some decently big names, and he just really isn't cutting it on the main roster. So with that being said, I definitely think it would be smart for Apollo Crews to be called down to NXT to help out that division. Number 3, Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis debuted at Money in the Bank 2017 alongside his wife Maria Kanellis. I guess WWE felt that they had to change his name to Kanellis because I guess a lot of the casuals didn't know who Mike Bennett was, and they felt that Maria's name held a lot more clout, which I don't necessarily agree with, but they're going to do what they want. So anyways, Mike Kanellis definitely had a lot of momentum coming into the company. If any of you watch Ring of Honor, he was part of the Kingdom. He had a good run in Impact Wrestling, so people did know who he was. And the way I look at it, like, if you don't pay your dues and go through NXT first and then get called up like everybody else does, you must be like a top tier, star-studded performer. And Mike Kanellis is unfortunately not that. I'm not saying he's terrible, but to skip NXT and just be called up to the main roster immediately, that's like huge. That's astronomical. Like, I don't really know anyone else that's able to do that, So I mean, even the greats like Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, they all, you know, worked their way through NXT and then got called up. Kevin Owens is another great example. So it's like, if he's able to do that, there's something good about him. However, this whole Power of Love gimmick flopped instantly. He really flopped on the main roster. He didn't have any credible matches, nothing memorable. His wife, Maria, is currently on maternity leave. And he recently just came out by saying that he has a drug addiction and he's, you know, getting over it and he's rehabbing. And by all means, that's amazing. I know this sounds kind of rude, but at the end of the day, I'm here to be real with you guys. It seems like Mike and Maria definitely played the WWE system and they knew they'd have a job for a while if they milked the pregnancy and then the, you know, coming out as a drug addict, because it would make the company look really bad to fire them. One, she's pregnant, and two, he's a recovering addict. So they are kind of really smart in a sense, because it's like a constant income for at least another year. So that's really smart of them. But at the same time, like, me being in the business, like knowing the industry, it's kind of a fucked up thing to do, because there's so many people who want to be in but aren't afforded the opportunity like they got lucky with, and they're kind of just milking it, him coming out with his addiction and then the pregnancy. It's just kind of like they can't fire these people because it would make the company look really bad. So yeah, send him to NXT, definitely. If anything, he could be putting over a lot of younger talent in NXT. I don't think he's good at all, to be honest. But on a personal level, I'm glad that he's getting the help that he needs with his drug addiction. And I think that's a really good thing. Number 2, Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke, unfortunately, was brought up way too fast. She was just starting to find herself in NXT alongside Emma back in 2015. She played her role to the best of her ability. She was basically Emma's lackey. She was just trying to figure the ropes out. And, you know, she did her role pretty decently. But when she got called up, she was like a fish out of water. And unfortunately, she's been on the main roster for a year and a half, almost 2 years. She hasn't found her niche on the main roster. If anything, she's deteriorated over time. And I don't think it looks good for Dana Brooke. So she's so bad that I can't even think of any good qualities. I mean, you know, she does what they tell her, and I guess that's a good thing. Like, she's okay with being in the role that she's in because she has no say, because she's not even a good worker. You know, I think it would be the best for her to go back down to NXT and try to improve for another year or so. And then if she still cannot improve, I think it would be in WWE's best interest to release Dana Brooke. I don't think that this is her scene at all. Even if she improves, I don't think it's her scene. She's into bodybuilding. She's into the fitness world. Now, some women or men, they can combine both and stick it out in WWE. I just don't think Dana Brooke is grasping it. She's really, really bad in that ring. And, you know, some people just can't grasp WWE or just pro wrestling in general. And I think her last-ditch effort would be to be sent back down to NXT. But if not, I could definitely see her being released in 2018. Hands down. And my number 1 selection will come as a big surprise to a lot of people, but I have valid reasons. I believe that Dolph Ziggler should be sent to NXT in 2018. The reason why I choose Dolph is because, you know, he is such a great fucking wrestler who is so underutilized on that main roster. It is criminal. He's so fucking good. He's great on the mic. He's a great wrestler. Yeah, you can argue that he oversells like a motherfucker, but he's still a great talent. And he doesn't have that much long left in terms of his career. So I feel like it would be amazing if he was sent to NXT and had epic matches, you know, helping out Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, Roderick Strong, Drew McIntyre. The list goes on. He could have such fucking star-studded matches with all those guys down in NXT, and he would be a really good figurehead to help out the NXT brand in 2018 when a lot of these big names like Adam Cole, Sanity, Andrade Cien Almas, when they all get called up eventually, it would be good for Ziggler to hone his craft in NXT, furthering all these newer talents, and everybody wins at the end of the day. So I think that would be awesome. I'd actually even pair Dana Brooke and Dolph Ziggler together in NXT. I think that would help both of them, and I think everyone wins at the end of the day. So that is why I chose Dolph Ziggler as my number one superstar to be called down to NXT.